is Cervical Cancer Prevention Week. And you're right, Taoiseach, all of us in this House absolutely support medical screening for early detection of cancer and other diseases. The medical evidence that screening saves lives is overwhelming, and we all need to absolutely ensure that we encourage men and women to avail of all screening opportunities. And in that context, it is essential that we have full confidence and that the public has full confidence in all our screening systems, including cervical check. But we have a litany of problems. We know of the suffering and courage of the 221 group, and we'll continue to press the government to respond to their needs. We now see 1,000 smears that have been compromised over the summer due to delays. The smears were waiting too long in the queue to be examined in the lab, and now women need to have those smears repeated. In the latest twist unveiled yesterday, it appears that a further 6,000, and we only got that figure late last night, are compromised due to HPV testing in the same lab. That has led to technical problems and again require those 6,000 women to endure a repeat test. The delay in getting the cervical check is now 22 weeks, according to the HSC. Where there are problems with the check and a recheck is required, that means another 22 weeks. For many people availing of private healthcare options to get a faster check. But that's not an option for everybody. It's another example of the two-tier system. I was contacted by somebody today who said, when they were told of this inordinate delay, we can get a fast one if you pay. Delays in cervical check are causing delays also to life-saving procedures. For example, if women are to get a number of other medical procedures, such as a kidney transplant, they need up-to-date smear tests. The delay in getting that check can cause delays to other life-saving procedures. How much scandal can the screening programme take? We are absolutely in favour of screening, but the problems besetting cervical check programme indicates that something is deeply wrong. These problems are further eroding confidence in screening, and people are anxious. So I want to ask specific questions. Can you, Taoiseach, on behalf of the government, confirm how much additional funding was allocated last year to cervical check? 2, will the government commit to full staffing and funding so that we can get cervical check back on track and deliver the quality service that we all want? And finally, as a result of what's gone on, now, as an emergency measure, will the government undertake to refund the cost of private checks, which might be the order of €100 to €200 per patient, in order to address the backlog and remove the inequality between those who can pay privately?
Thank you, Deputy Howlin. Taoiseach.
Yeah, Deputy, there's a lot of questions there, but can I just say, to the question, which is how much scandal can the screening programme take? It's up to this House and this government to deal with the issues that have emerged, to ensure that we move from scandal to reassurance. That is what the Scally report was all about. That is what the support packages for victims of this scandal has been all about. That is what Minister Harris has been trying to do, and in my view has done effectively, to try to bring order to how we respond to this in an appropriate way. And so, when you talk about scandal, we can contribute to that scandal and that sense of fear and uncertainty if we don't respond appropriately in this House and create fears unnecessarily. What we have is a new issue that we didn't know about, that needs to be addressed, that was raised with the Minister in December, it was raised with the Minister in December, and was subsequently raised in the Cervical Check Steering Committee. It is absolutely appropriate that patients' reps and the Steering Committee would be the first to hear about this, and indeed patients themselves would hear before the Dáil hears about these issues. And the Minister, yes, They did. The Minister asked for and was awaiting a report in terms of the detailed numbers on this issue when it was raised yesterday and became a political issue in the Dáil. And that is why we've had to respond today in the way that we have.
I think, words lose their meaning if the Taoiseach doesn't apply the word scandal to what happened to women last year that were involved in cervical check. Well, you're talking about us using the word, or me using the word today, as if it was inappropriate, that it was raising fears. Well, that's what it sounded like. The issues that arose last year require at least this lesson to be learned, and that is full transparency. We have to treat people in this country as adults who deserve to know the full facts about their own health care. And the notion that women have yet to be told in relation to information that you say the Minister for Health had since December. And you also say that they were told, the Minister was told last December there was a problem. The Taoiseach couldn't give the numbers yesterday morning when he was asked for transparency in this House, yet they were available 3 hours later to be given by the HSE. Is it that the HSE doesn't talk to the Minister or the Government? After last year, we need to know the full facts. I've asked 3 specific questions. Perhaps, since you won't have time to come back in relation to them, that you might come in writing back to me to answer the specific questions I asked, to deal with the anxieties of women now and the inequalities for those who can't afford to wait 22
Deputy.
weeks for a result.
I mean, Deputy, let me just clarify what I said. I said the way in which this House responds to scandals like this either adds to the scandal and the sense of uncertainty and fear that many women face, or it has the opposite effect. And the Government has always focused on, in terms of all the decisions we've taken, all the reports we've asked for, and all the recommendations we've looked for from experts, has been about full transparency and trying to reassure women in relation to their own health care. And that is what we're doing here now too. And when my understanding is that when the Minister was informed that there was an issue here, he was not given the details in relation to numbers or who those patients were. He didn't have that information and so couldn't share it. But the issue was discussed with the Cervical Check Steering Committee, which of course does have patients' representatives and other experts on it. And the Minister asked for a detailed report in relation to this issue so that he would be fully informed, and didn't have that, and so couldn't provide it to the House. That's my understanding. But the Minister himself, who is on paternity leave at the moment, is happy to come in as soon as he returns to this House, which will be the week after next, to answer all the questions that you'd like to ask of him in relation to political accountability around these issues. But let's try to provide this morning some reassurance on the basis of the medical advice that we have here to women who may be concerned today and who may be getting letters in the post next week in relation to the repeat smears that they will be offered to try to provide them reassurance.